How are people not freaking out about death? As you get older, the idea that this doesn't go on forever becomes appealing. I find most people say they want to die someday. Just not today. On one hand, I feel the same way. The idea that all of this goes on forever is rather daunting. So an ending to it all seems comforting. But on the other hand, if I'm being honest with myself, I have never once started my morning and felt I would be satisfied. If I died on this day, who's to say that will change at 80 or 90 years old? That's what keeps me up at night, the presumption old age will make death more appealing. I know a lot of old people who do not want their ride to end, and it seems more common than society is willing to acknowledge. Most people who die, even those who are very old, are not ready to die. I get freaked out more by the past than the future though. I get freaked out by the idea I will never get a second try. There are so many things I wish I could do over, but I can't. I'm already a third of the way through the game and I see glaring things I could have done in the first couple missions to better my playthrough. You can spend your life fearing and fighting death, or you can spend it living and enjoying life. You will die at the end either way. The Buddhists would encourage you to be fully present in each moment, as if it were your last. I think they have it right. I mean, it's not like people aren't afraid. It's just that they're more concerned of either A. dying without coming to terms, or B. the manner of how they'll die. As people get older, and usually wiser, they kinda come into terms that they ain't living forever. What's the point of worrying about something that you can't control? Why not just worry about the things that you can do while you're still here, so when that time comes, you're fulfilled with what you have done so far? Or something like that is what my old man usually says whenever I used to freak out about the idea of dying. But yeah, scientists are still trying in vain to solve that. Not much breakthrough so far aside from prolonging your lifespan by having a healthy lifestyle. A. Our bodies aren't built for immortality. So as others have mentioned, death eventually becomes the thing you would prefer. B. I don't believe my life has any particular importance in the grand scheme of things. Sure, I make my contributions to society, etc., but my actual existence is not of much consequence. C. Do you remember 100 years ago, before you were born, and you had that feeling of just wanting to live? No? Me either. My assumption is that this is how I'll feel after I'm dead. 2. I mean, people are trying to find ways to prolong life. It's just that curing death is way more difficult than you're imagining. And people have been working on that for millennia. However, there is no chance that we'll be able to cure death in our lifetimes. We will all die. It's better to make our peace with that, to accept that we only have a limited amount of life, and instead do the most with what we've got. This post is a good reminder of how grateful I am that nothing approximating social media existed when I was a teenager. Still freaking in my late 20s. I think for some people it's just hard to reconcile with. No shame in it. Just try to get on with it and enjoy life. I just see death as peaceful. I don't want to die, but I'm not scared of it. If we all lived forever, we would not be able to support the huge population. Just curious, how old are you? As someone in my 50s, I take great comfort in knowing I'll die someday and would be horrified at the thought of everlasting life. People have been freaking out about death since the dawn of humanity. It's the primary reason why people believe in religion, because they want some assurance of an afterlife. LMAO people have been trying to cure death since time immemorial. Do you seriously think the 1% of the 1% of that 1% of the top 10% wealthiest and powerful people on The planet aren't proactively pouring tens of billions into this sort of research? They absolutely are and have been for literally ages. This entire thread is making me feel bad things. I work at the ICU and at the beginning of it I was surprised that people that attempt suicides the most are older people. 70 plus years. Later it kinda started making sense. Life is good when you're young. Not so perfect when chronic diseases start kicking in and you have to bear the pain purely because you're existing. Our bodies aren't built for immortality and it makes sense that it gets a little bit too much at one point and you just want to end it. I, of course, in no way support suicide. But I can't say I don't understand why someone who's constantly in pain would try to end it all. The gods envy us. They envy us because we're mortal. Because any moment may be our last. Everything is more beautiful because we're doomed. I would say people have always been on the chase for a cure to death. That is why doctors wash their hands before surgery. Why we take medicines for cancer, transplant animal organs into humans, etc. What we have right now is the furthest we have gotten so far. I was dead for millions of years before I was born and it didn't inconvenience me in the slightest. Mark Twain? Why would you want to live forever? That freaks me out. That'd be like you're trapped in existence with no escape ever. You always have to exist even when you don't want to anymore. Eternal existential prison. Horrifying. Don't worry, you'll get over that feeling. Well, since you've technically been around since the beginning of the universe, why should you now worry about dying? You have no idea what you were before. And most likely you've died in some capacity before. So if we'll technically be around forever, just dead, death has no meaning. And if we're only self-aware for just a blip of time, why not enjoy that time doing stuff a small fraction of atoms will ever get to enjoy? Let shame to life.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.